station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
One by One Kia full range of products embodies fundamental nutrients necessary to maintain beautiful and healthy hair care without having to combine an assortment of hair care products. The One by One Kia products are designed to rejuvenate, moisturize, create shine, fortify, and stimulate hair growth while leaving your hair feeling weightless and luxurious. Be sure to visit our website at www.onebywankaya.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at One by One Kia. Let's get your healthy hair care journey started today.
Okay. Welcome, people. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We're here at I Am Meta, Health and Wellness, Spirit, Mind, and Body. I'm Zephyra, the Medicare Data. We have Malika, a breath of fresh air. And we have a treat for you today. We have Brick City Buddha in the house. Right? That's King Doc's over there. Big City Buddha. Brick City Buddha. Now, it's so appropriate because today's show is all about meditation, stillness, and a peace of mind. How we're going to achieve it. What signs are we looking for that we really need to buckle down and seek this deeper consciousness so we can bring things to the surface, clear our minds, so we can manifest.
You took the thought out of my head. I was about to.
I read it. You saw I paused. I was like, okay, I'm going to say it. Then he's going to see how we resonate. Look, I don't want to give it away, but I hear what you don't say.
Right.
Literally, it happens all the time. I would say it, and there's like, I was just thinking about that. I said, I know.
Right. You and me both.
Yeah. Yes. Right? So meditation, stillness, and a peace of mind. Yes, we need it. All that's going on in our lives, in the world, we definitely need a place or space within where we can always resort to. Meditation is I would say it awakens our consciousness. It awakens it. It's getting away from all the frenetic energies of the day, everything outside of us. You're bustling, going to work, you're hustling, bustling, coming home. You may have to pick the children up from school, whatever the deal is. We got a lot going on, and a lot of times parents are thinking about, what am I going to cook for dinner? We always have something going. but we need to have a moment where we can actually resort to that inner dwelling, that dwelling within, for us to get a little deeper, to clear the day. And it's going to help us rest better as well. It's going to help us to really full joy, that deep sleep, because we're not going to have a bunch of stuff clogging up the mind. Because that's exactly what happens. It's we have to put the past to the past mentally. If it's already past, we can't sit here gung-ho every day. It's only going to churn you in a direction where that's not where you want to go. You want to go inwards, where you can build your strength and your empowerment. So we have to separate the energies. And frenetic energies, for any of you who don't know what that is, it's the actual hustle and bustle, the things that we really don't have control over. So when we look at TV and you see there's a war across the other side of the world, across 7 seas, we don't have control over that. But it concerns us, especially if we have people in the military that's serving in the military. We're going to be concerned. We're going to be worried maybe. And just the type of way people worry is so different, because a lot of people create illusions in their mind to think it's going to be like this and think it. So they're putting all these things together in their mind, and it's really only an illusion. Unless you're dealing with something that you're actually seeing and looking at, then don't create the energies that's going to really burden you, especially mentally. And that's what we're going to speak about today in depth, because it's a topic that actually needs to be covered. Now, conscious awareness, it creates a greater sensitivity for us in our growth, in our progress, and how we evolve. So it's imperative that we have that. Peace and love, everyone. Before we even get across the panel here, I'm going to say, let me see where it is here. I believe it was, yes, Let's Gripe. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kim, peace and love. Yes. Thank you for being here today.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm happy that you all are joining me and saying something. Thank you for those likes and comments, because that's how we know that you're here and you're observing, and you have an opportunity to subscribe to the channel to continue to hear great programs on health and wellness every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, and that's 3 p.m. Pacific time on the West Coast.
Yes.
Right? So we have to.
So I was typing peace, everyone. You said peace, everyone. Like,
see, from day one, this is how Brick City Buddha and I have been connecting. That's why I know, as the journey is continuously fulfilled and coming together, this is the energy, because we're literally resonating and vibrating on those frequencies. And meditation actually would help you to achieve that as well. Karen Davis, thank you. Big up yourself. Karen Davis said, good evening, everyone from Greensboro, North Carolina. Thank you for being here, Karen. Much love. Right?
Yes, thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and shift over to Malika, and then we're going to shift over to King Docs right here. That's Brick City Buddha, you all. And if you haven't heard about him, you need to look him up.
Yes.
he got it for you.
Yes, I agree. I just recently, only in the last couple of days, actually came across Doc's one of his videos, and I just scrolled. When you find someone that resonates with you, and you just got to go through their whole page.
Yes.
So I did that, and I just appreciated everything that came together for me to even come upon his page. So, and then to see that today he was our guest, I'm like, okay, this is what's up, Connections.
Not even know. I guess.
Yes, I didn't even know. So yes, definitely our guest Docs Digla, and I am appreciating this collaboration, this show, this Sunday presently.
Yeah.
So welcome. And I just want to start out by sharing a little bit about meditation, my experience with meditation, stillness. And so for me, my experience with meditation just recently has started, let's say in the last 7 years. I would say that's I'm still a baby in meditation. But meditation is such a wonderful way to get to know yourself. Meditation is such a wonderful way to connect with your own essence, the being of who you are, like clear, crisp, no impurities.
Naked, no clothes,
it's
no
you.
eyes.
There's no one else attached in this space. It is your energy. And so my experience with meditation, I have done the sit down and quiet myself, have quietness in my environment meditation. I've done meditation while driving, and I've done meditation after yoga. And let me just share with you that when you are taking yourself with the intention to sit still, to just allow everything around you to be whatever it is and be with yourself, you start to activate and move the energy within you for your highest and greatest good. And the energy within you is allowed to cleanse you in a way. So there's energetically, our experiences, they leave imprints, or let's say they leave a shadow of a presence in us. And if we don't take the time to clear ourselves, it can build up and it can become energetic blockages within our body. So my experience with meditation has been, when I am in meditation on a regular and a consistent basis, it allows for this cleansing and clearing of these energies to happen without me having to think about it. Because our body and our being just knows what to do. We just must allow ourselves the opportunity to have it done, to do it. And so meditation, you also, okay, so let me share this experience. When you're in meditation, or let me share my experience in meditation. I was doing my yoga, and then I laid down in the corpse pose, it's called, and Savasana, and I laid there still. And after the yoga, I could feel energy moving throughout my whole entire body.
Yes.
And I was interested in what was all of this energy just moving through me from my toes,
That
all the
conduit.
way up my head. I could feel different sensations moving. And there was so much I was like, let me just focus somewhere. And a sensation that felt more prominent in my awareness was a sensation in my left chest wall area. And I just continued to lay there, my eyes closed, focusing on that sensation. And the more I did that, the less aware I became of my surroundings, the less aware I became of where I was in physical time and space. I began to journey into my body, actually, with that sensation, and came to a memory. I came to what that sensation represented. And it represented a time in my life where I was in the hospital, and as a young girl, and I had been stabbed. So I was in the hospital, and I was 13 or 14. And I was a late bloomer, as it is said. And
you still look like 16.
Thank you. So with the doctors had to put a chest tube. I was stabbed and my lung had been punctured. The doctors put a chest tube into my chest, and they taped the chest tube, and they also taped my breast down as a young girl, just developing, right? And in that moment that I was in the meditation, I was able to relive that moment. And I felt the feelings at the time. I was angry and I was upset at the doctor, because I thought, he's a doctor. He must know that by taping my breast, as it is just growing and developing, he's going to make it uneven here. And it was becoming very apparent even as I was in the hospital. And I could feel the tears running down my face as I was laying there. those were feelings and emotions I never expressed out loud. And it became apparent to me that during this session of meditation, during the yoga practice and in allowing myself to lay still after this yoga practice and in meditation, I allowed this energy that was there all this time since I was 13 or 14. And I was 42. I'm 42. And it's been there all this time. And it came up and I was able to express the feelings that I didn't express as that young girl. And I cried and I talked to the doctor and I was like, how could you do this? And for me, it just became more imperative and real that meditation is a benefit. Giving ourselves the space, the opportunity, and the time to meditate is so beneficial for us. We don't even know all the stuff that we're carrying around in our body that may be weighing us down, that could be blocking something that we're trying to accomplish. And so I just want to just share that experience with you to show you, illustrate to you what something is possible when you allow yourself to be with yourself and be in a state of meditation. So I want to just turn it over back to
so let me say this real quick before we turn it over to King Docs. King Docs, just real quick. Just so you can see how this whole thing, how we all come together based on energies. When Malika saw whatever video, it was before you agreed to be a guest on the show today. So when I called her and let her know who's going to be here and sent the flyer, and she's like, whoa, yeah, because she's like, wait a minute, you mean, in her mind, she's saying, I know I just saw a video, and she's like connecting, like, this person's really going to be here. Yes, and here he is, live and direct. Yeah, so I just think it's such of a small, people think it's a big thing, but when it comes to energies and frequencies, it can come together so quickly just from her seeing a video before I even mentioned you to her. I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
That you're here with us today. So King Docs, this is Brick City Buddha right here.
Yes.
We want you to share with us your journey. Okay. What light or bulb came on in your head to bring it to this point?
All right. I'm gonna do my best to follow all of that. First of all, when you was talking about the energy, tapping into the energy in the left cavity, it hasn't been. I'm in Virginia. I was coming to pick up my son, so we'll be here for another few days. 95 degrees. It hasn't been not one breeze. I haven't felt any wind. All of a sudden, I closed my eyes because as you was talking about your own energy, this delicate little breeze is just look. Just so y'all know, I'm not bugging out.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, is this beautiful wind coming through. Secondly, you're 42.
Yes.
What? I was in my thinking like, okay, how old is she? That's crazy. Well, how young? But
I always tease her about that 16-year-old. She looks like a 16-year-old.
I want to get
or 16-year young.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an honor to be here. And as far as my personal journey, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. You know, one of the most notorious hoods in our country, really more so in the world. And to be quite honest, I always say this: I do my best to keep it a buck. I didn't care nothing about nobody's meditation. I didn't think I would ever be doing, let alone teaching anybody's meditation. And I hope people either learn through inspiration or desperation. I was desperate. I grew up in a Christian background, Christian household, and coming into my adult years, just had a very rough go at it. Spent some time in the streets hustling. That didn't work out. 13-year relationship at the time had disintegrated. I got diagnosed at 23 years old with 17% kidney functionality. So I was silently dying and had no idea. As a result, I ended up going blind in my left eye a few years later. So 3 different surgeries at different points, needle big, right in my eye like crazy. So that was my personal version of rock bottom. And I had always had at least a foundation of believing in God. Coming up in a Christian background, even though I strayed away from the church because, you know, reading the Bible, at least how it was taught to me at that time, it just didn't resonate that God would punish people to hell for eternities and do all this craziness, all the jealous aspects of the Christian guy I was taught.
Yes.
So that on top of what my life was, I just didn't believe in God. Couldn't pray anymore. You okay?
Sis, you okay?
I was trying to get something. You go ahead, D. I'm coming.
Okay.
I was trying to reach for something.
All right, long as you good.
Yeah, I'm good. There we go.
Never know how it's gonna come.
I was reaching for something out of the tip of the chair.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at that point, you know, my parents, my family didn't live here anymore. I didn't have any friends at that point that I could really turn to. So I became transparent online, and I've been an artist for almost 18 years at this point. So a person I was in a group with, that we had money on the table, deals on the table. He left the group right when we was about to start negotiating and signing, and he left the group to start his own meditation company. Now we was mad at him for years. We didn't understand it. We thought weirdo. Me and the streets like, bro, what are you doing? We got bags on the table right now.
Yeah.
But it's how God works, because right when I was being transparent on social media, having no other outlet, me and him reconnected. And at this point, he was already established in his yoga company. And I was suicidal. I was on the verge of my second suicide attempt, which I would have definitely been successful that time. But he reached out to me. He said, you know, I see what you've been posting. I want to offer you my course for free, 5-week online course. Had no belief that it would do anything, but you know, a part of me didn't want to die. Like, people who are suicidal really don't want to get out of here. We just don't want to deal with it. We don't have no other way to deal with it.
Yeah.
So a 5-week online course changed my entire trajectory. And from that point, I just threw myself into it. I was on disability at the time, so I had a lot of free time. I couldn't work at the time anyway. And when I tell you I was in the forest, 8 hours of this city boy from Newark, New Jersey, that was out here hustling, rapping, stuff, I'm finding myself in the forest 8 hours a day, completely secluded for about 2 years from society, celibate. You know, I reharnessed all my sexual energy during that time frame. I just confronted those spaces within myself that Goddess was just talking about. In yoga, they call it klishta. Klishta, coloring of an experience in your conscious mind. And over time, we have this coloring book that we're trying to live the present moment through the prism of this coloring book. So you're looking at these past moments, these future ambitions, and doing your best to stay present, and you can't, because the decoloring of these experiences need to happen for you to be able to let go of them. So I was able to express myself. I always been a nerd. Like, I would be hustling on the block with quantum mechanics books, getting laughed at, right? Telling them, I'm gonna shoot you, keep laughing at me, I'm gonna read this book, right? But it was funny because the science actually corroborated a lot of what I was learning about spirituality, which helped me a lot, because, you know, my mind was a lot more logical and linear at that time. Everything just balanced out, and I still didn't have any intentions of teaching, but Spirit just kept throwing that bug in my at this point, just about 3 years ago, first class, one person showed up. I was doing classes for free that first year. And by the end of the summer, I had like a 70, 80 people community that was coming out every week. And that event turned into my platform, meditation, education, and all the work we've been doing, myself and my team in Newark, New Jersey, and the tri-state at this point. So it's been a beautiful journey.
Man, that's so powerful, King Dox. Man, I feel that one like deep.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't like to have discussions about where they're coming from. They may feel like they're in a good place, right? And people see them in a good place, but we don't know what it took. We don't know what battles they had to fight. We didn't know what circumstances they had to overcome to even be at this place where they found peace. So you mentioned something about being out there hustling, and you had that quantum physics book. You know, I think we all have some sort of story to share of that nature, just being out there in that type of hustling, trying to make ends meet, trying to get a dollar, trying to do this, that, and the other. And sometimes the calling or the purpose, it's before us, but it's kind of like hidden in plain sight. We don't see it yet. And then those light bulbs, that person that came back around. See, he set a stage because he pulled away from a certain point. So you actually was kind of looking at the side of your eye. That's what I did when I came to this journey. I kind of was looking at the side of my eyes like, want to try that because they look so peaceful, you know? And from the day I just tried and felt the peace and the calmness of everything, I never stopped. I never stopped. It's so important for quite a few things. When you really want to say thank you for life and for all you have, your health and all that, it's gratitude. It's good to sit and meditate and have some gratitude. I know I'm echoing and I'm not sure why. So let me see if it went away. Okay, I just changed something over there. Yeah, so gratitude. Let's sit about 15, 30 minutes. Sit and do some meditation. Sit and give thanks just for life. Also for guidance. When you're torn or at a fork in the road and don't know what to do, where to go, let your mind be still so you can receive information. I don't want to say instructions, but you receive information and we choose. Right? We choose. We always have a choice. Whether some people are like, I had no choice. Of course you did. Well, I would have died. So it's a choice though. So if you made a choice for whatever it is, but it's good to get inside because it also helps us to assess our creativities of what we need to birth, especially if you're looking to create a business or launch something, or if you have a gift like King Doc's over here with his music and all that. So, you know, all of these things, when we go inside, we can see it so much brighter. It's so vivid and it's real. And it's actually what we need to build on, the realness of it. Not to just say, oh, I want to do this and want to do that, and creating, oh, it's going to look like this and that, and then trying to, I would say, trying to run after that. You can actually create everything inside and it attracts. The energies that you need are going to attract. Based on the story Miss King just mentioned, I see it as the universe was setting the stage. It was setting it set the script, it set the stage, the camera, it set the audience. Because regardless of if we see it or not, everything that the universe does is edging us or guiding us to a certain place so we can illuminate, we can fulfill some more works, we can help others, and we master a skill where we're going to help others. And that's how I see that, King Docs, this journey of yours, because it's a beautiful journey. A lot of people can't speak about coming out of a certain energy cycle at such of a young age.
Right.
And I know, you know me, I'm a half a century baby, so I'm over my half a century, and I'm so honored to see a lot of the younger generations than I am actually are coming fully equipped, and because we already know in the womb, all of this information is already genetically stored in the womb and is handed down. So we do have a genetic memory. So when you hear something and someone will say, oh, you know, I heard that before and it sounded deja vu. Yeah, well, because we've already experienced it. It's a conscious experience, maybe not physical, but it was definitely a conscious experience. When we go to sleep at night, your spirit is not asleep. The spirit don't sleep. It's energy. So it just is. And we vibrate on whatever frequencies we're on. That's what we're going to surround ourselves with. Also, when it comes to that moment of growth. Yeah, when it comes to that moment of growth, we have to take time for that introspection. We spoke about that the other week. That's when you get inside yourself. That's that meditation time. Because see, if you're not going to clear your head, then you're not going to be able to get much done in there as far as sorting your thoughts and releasing energies that needs to be released and things that are keeping you stagnated in life. And what we're going to do after we come back, or after we return from the commercial, from the Powerhouse Radio commercial, we're going to ask Docs to give us some information on what he does as far as how does he get through his meditation, and how did he form his routine? How did he make it stick? And what words of encouragement do you have for our viewers and us? Right? Thank you. We're going to take a quick powerhouse break.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
The Hinkson Firm's mission is to provide superior legal service in the areas of family law, child welfare law, general legal services, and mediation by keeping convenience of the clients at the forefront. The Hinkson Firm's goal is to eliminate the stress of an already intense situation in your life by coming directly to your workplace and or a location close to your home for consultation, meetings, and mediation. The Hinkson Firm customized legal attention based on the needs of each client while treating every client with the dignity and respect they deserve, while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson Firm can be reached at 470-499-4704.
All right. So yes, welcome forward to the I Am Meta show with Zephyr, Malika, and King Docs is in the house, y'all. That's Brick City Buddha, live and direct. And I often love to hear about the journeys, because that is where the inspiration is, the motivations for others. It inspires all of us, even myself. And I'm no rookie at this, but the inspiration comes because we always are going to learn new things and new ways of doing things. And we're going to come across a lot of people, a lot of energies in life, and it's going to help to take us up a notch so we can continue to help others. So, King Docs, let us know how you apply meditation, how you applied it in your life, and how was it able to transform? What were your routines? Like, how did you really make it stick?
Okay. Well, initially, like most people, I think most people either gravitate one of the two rungs of yoga, because a lot of people also get things confused. No disrespect, but I always say people think yoga is just the white ladies at the yoga studios doing the stretches, right?
Like, where did that come from?
I mean, you know, Western civilization, they have a way of packaging things.
Yes,
And,
yes.
Civilization comes, like you said, from my genetic code. This is stuff that comes from Kemet, comes from ancient Africa. We, to a large degree, civilize these aspects of the rest of the world. So this is our, right?
It's our thing.
Know that, especially in the type of environment that I work in. But I feel like most people initially either gravitate towards the asanas, postures, or towards pranayama, right? Before they can get comfortable actually meditate, right? You wanted to say something, Lee?
No, I just am like pranayama. That's my joint.
Yeah, because that's one of those things that really opens you up to that pranic field, that energy that you was talking about, that low key is flowing through everything all the time. And I kind of coalesce it for people who, when I start to talk about chi and ki and prana, I don't know if I believe in that. So I always ask people, what goes on inside your body when you're upset? And people will tell me, my hands start to shake, or I start to cry, or, you know, Black people say such and such made me hot, right? The body temperature increases. Now I ask people, what do you think this is? This is a certain energy rushing to the surface of your system, ready to be used and released in a certain way. So when we're anxious and that feeling comes into your belly when you get quote unquote nervous. These are all just waves of that pranic field that's always just the subtle energy that's beneath all life, right? So that prana gives you that direct doorway into that euphoric, orgasmic feeling if you do it correctly, if you do it enough. So initially, it was a lot of pranayama for me. I didn't really resonate with asana as much. You know, I did my sun salutations and things of that nature, but it wasn't the asanas that I didn't resonate with. I didn't resonate with a teacher that was in my community, right? And I think it's very important to not just follow the trend or the information, but wait until your spirit actually resonates. That's what.
Yes.
I did still really have an experience with asana. I'm not saying it will never happen, but I see why, because I could have like ingratiated myself to that, which is beautiful. But I see my role, at least to this point in my journey, is more so about not control, but collaborating with the mind.
Yes.
My classes have difficulty because one, they think, docs, I can't stop my mind. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. And I tell them, one, is not possible. You're not going to stop that train. It's supposed to be what it's doing. It's more so about a dance, being in concert with the mind. And I always use the example of, you know, those of us who have children. There'll be certain points where you got a 2, 3-year-old in the other room. They going off, but you know they safe. They just doing their 3-year-old thing. You may be in the other room with a girlfriend, with a homie, having a conversation. To a certain degree, while you're engaged in this aspect, they become white noise. As loud as they, and my parents can definitely attest to this, as loud as they say, they just check out. You don't even hear that noise. So it's the same approach with meditation. And at this point in my journey, the actual school of thought is called Gyanism, right? Also known as the path of self, and also known as Atma Vichara, right? So what this path is, it gives you, it liberates you. It's no longer a mode of, I got to meditate for 5 hours a day. I got to do morning, noon, and you can still do that. And there's still times where regiment expresses itself through me. But at this point, I have the liberty of being in meditation all the time. Right now, as Atman, right, soul entity that we know as docs is having this conversation, I'm still in connection with that layer underneath this physical experience.
Yes.
And silence and stillness, observing but unattached. I always have that innate connection at this point in my journey to source energy. As long as, and that meditation is really about, all the different techniques and traditions, they're just a mold of how to turn your face backwards. And when we say that in, you know, the field of Gyanism, it's just about turning your attention from the objective world, sensations, thoughts, people, places, and things, to what's happening beneath this world of experience.
Yes.
But at this point in my journey, there may be weeks or months at a time where it's still regimented, with still a lot of pranayama. It may be some Tai Chi or Qigong, but there are large gaps where it's not really about a technique. It's just about staying connected to the observer beneath experience, whether people call that Allah, Jesus, Buddha,
whatever it is.
But this is staying in touch with what can't be named. This is there's so, I say, it's so much love in it. At this point in my journey, I realize love is being able to give your attention to something else to the degree that you forget yourself. Right?
Yes.
So this, whatever you call it, right, continue to say source. It loves its projection. That's all we are. Source peeking through all these different eyes, experiencing it. But this source loves each entity so much that even when we go to sleep, still watching us even in dream state. It never turns off. It never says, I need about 7 days to not pay attention. It's paying attention to you all the time.
Yes,
but
all the time.
It's about paying attention.
Wow.
Straight
I'm
up.
gonna read out some of these comments real quick, because I love all of you coming in with the comments today. Thank you so much for that support. Right. So we're gonna start with Kim Butler Ashley. Right. Kim Butler Ashley says, Zephyr, it's me, says Vera. I know your name, Vera. You know, I'm so happy you're able to make it, and I hope Skylar was able to make it as well. Big up yourself, Aset Komet. She said, bless up fam. Kara Johnson. Big up yourself, my beautiful niece. Wow, so interesting. Greetings from Shaka. Thank you. Also, Offset Komet says we definitely have to figure ourselves. Yes. At the end of any day, I think we need to know more than we did the day before. And we need to have budged up a little bit more to not stand in the same place. It means you stand in the same place, there's no growth.
Right.
And I feel when we get inside of ourselves, that's when growth, that's when the work begins. That's when that growth pattern starts to take place, especially, and King Docs mentioned something here, we have to have a commitment. Because some people start, and I don't know, they just feel, I don't know if they feel like it's boring because it's quiet or the quiet moment. Some people have a challenge being silent with themselves, being quiet. They want to hear noise. And it's like our deep sleep. If we can't have that deep sleep moment, our cells, our neurons, nephrons, all of that would not renew itself and regenerate. The tissues, the cellular, it wouldn't renew itself. The same thing with the body. It's like that. It's like a deep stillness. We don't have to be asleep, but just knowing that we can go into this space and really think about things that we may need to sort out, sort in, work out, figure out, create, whatever it is your intentions are. That's what we have to do. Also, just so the audience will know what we're speaking about, vibrational frequencies. Vibrational frequencies are the high spiritual energies, right? And it's transmitted. And it could be through the psyche, mental, astral, I would say ethereal, mystical, name it. These are levels. And I know people say, well, life don't go up and down, it goes around. Yeah, you know why they say that? Because that's how everything goes. It's 360, then you add that again, that's 720. It goes around, it continues to spiral. And we want to grow while all this is happening. Okay, Offset Komet, if you don't plan for yourself, other people will plan for you. Absolutely. If you don't control your own self and your own mind, other people will control it. A government will control the mind, not even a person. It could be it could be a leader of a country. But controlling that mind of your own is knowing yourself. And we have to get in there before we do it. Also, meditation, if you have anything that you need to heal from, let's get some meditation going, because that's where healing process really will start to illuminate for you. It will start to really highlight things on the inside, and you'll feel easier letting it out and releasing it because you're familiar with the space you're in. So get to know that space. And don't think I know I'm doing all this, but the space is in the mind and how you're going to perceive things moving forward. I also want to mention real quick that when connecting with corresponding frequential energies, that is what stimulates. It stimulates our activities to do it. It stimulates it. The more we connect with it, the more we're going to be stimulated to do it. It's almost like looking forward, like children that really love to go to school. They're looking forward every morning. They can't wait to get up and they're going to eat something real quick. They can't wait to get on the school bus and get to school. They're really excited about it. That's how you're going to feel. You're going to feel like, ooh, I'm going to get my deep sleep, rise up. I'm going to get my meditation on. And you already know you're claiming this day. And don't matter what's going on outside. Matter of fact, when you start there, let's say you work in a workplace with other people and a lot of drama sometimes. When you get to that workspace after you really start to do meditation, it's almost as if you're now on the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. You're no longer part of it. You know how to separate yourself. Your energies are going to separate. Mercury and water, you're not going to mix. Oil and water, it's not going to mix. It's going to keep separating, right? So, and once the stimulation occurs, our own mind, our own spirit will draw upon itself. It'll draw upon itself. You will no longer, you don't have to.
Yes.
There's nothing out there. Choice if we choose to get it from out there. And it's a choice if you choose to get it within, right?
Yes.
So Malika,
Yes.
what we're going to reason about real quick here is, go back on this side here. Let's talk about peace of mind, clearing, actually. So Malika, give us some information on that.
Thank you, Queen. I just wanted to drop into the people's ears something that you mentioned about clearing their mind and from the day and everything that they have going on, and then something Doc said about not being able to actually get rid of your thoughts and stop thinking. So I wanted to bring hopefully some clarity to everyone, and saying that when you get into a state of meditation and people sit down, and you spoke about this, about people not wanting to be committed to it, may be boring or too quiet or anything like that, is what a lot of people experience, what a lot of people experience is their own thoughts, their own subconscious programming now having an opportunity, now having their attention to address things that they have not addressed. So when you sit down to meditate and different things start to come up, maybe your bills, maybe a disagreement, conflict you have with someone, maybe something that happened in the past, maybe you're concerned about your future and those thoughts come up. You don't need to worry about trying or making effort to make the thoughts stop. You don't have to make an effort to not think. That's not what meditation is. When you sit down with yourself to have that quiet time, as you sit there and the thoughts may arise, you'll be like, oh, I see you. Okay, got you. And then something that is helpful for some people when they're in meditation is when these thoughts come up, and sometimes you get distracted or you start to think about that. You're like, oh yeah, I do have a bill due coming up, and do I have enough money, and have I made enough hours at work? And you start to get off into a train of thought, right? The train is taking your attention away from what you're doing. So something that can help you when you are going into your meditation, you're sitting down and dedicate that time to yourself, is to focus on your breathing. Focus on, at some point in your breath pathway, you can either focus on your nostrils, the feeling of the air passing in and passing out of your nostril. You can focus on maybe the back of your throat. If you can feel the air passing through somewhere within your respiratory system. So if you can feel it at the back of your throat, focus there. And when those thoughts and those things come up, because they want to be dealt with, just notice them, observe, oh yes, I see that thing. And then start to focus on your breathing again, wherever you can feel it. Maybe you feel it at your nostrils, your nares, or maybe you feel it in your throat, or maybe you don't feel it until your lungs actually start to expand and contract. Wherever it is that you feel it, make that your point of focus whenever thoughts come up and they become a train trying to take your attention elsewhere. And the more that you do this, you will actually help yourself to clear the things. And when you're done with your meditation time, your time with yourself, then you can go in and write down the things that you recall that you need to take care of. Write down the things that came up for you. And you can use this as a point of reflection, a journal, to help you see the things that are running in the background of your mind that you aren't giving attention to during the day. So I just want to say, so be compassionate with yourself when you are in your meditation, and be compassionate with yourself when the thoughts come up. When the worries and whatever things come to your mind, be compassionate with yourself, not to say, oh man, I can't stop thinking about these things. Just return to your breath. Just find your breath where you can feel it in on the inhale and on the exhale. And know that just the very intention and the act to sit down with yourself is very powerful indeed. And it's a very loving and comforting action that you can do for yourself.
Absolutely. And let's KR Johnson, please tell me more. I need to focus on learn to meditate. And you know what, Kashaka, if you haven't caught this from the beginning, rewatch it again. And the name, what I'll do as well, I can post some things on my page where you can know where to find Brick City Buddha on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, because it's someone that I will be connecting and collaborating with moving forward. We're probably going to get together and do all kind of workshops here or there, because that's the season for it. It's a season for elevation. So what I would do, I would actually ask King Docs if he can respond to KR Johnson's when it says, please tell me more. I need to focus on and learn to meditate. Let's give her a little insight on how she can get started, King Docs.
Okay. And what Leek was saying was perfect. What she was talking about as far as breath is a term that comes from Sanskrit called bindu, right? So bindu means drop or point. And you can use anything to bindu. Breath is definitely one of the main things because it's so constant and consistent, unwavering. But there is a numerable amount of bindus you could use. And the one that works for me, probably the most at this point in my journey, I use the analogy of, I just came from the airport. So when you come back from the airport, you got to go pick up your luggage. Like pack light, Erykah Badu and all that. Pack light. Right, I pack light, so I ain't have to do this. But most people got to go to the conveyor belt to get their cake. And all these thoughts that come around are going to do their best because the mind isn't used to being out of control. It's used to just smacking your ping pong match, right? So it understands you're going into a meditative state, going to send the kitchen sink. And I love how Lee put it. The pop up. If you aren't at that point of discipline yet, that will turn into a train. I call it a story, and this whole story will develop. Whole fantasy will be playing out in your head, and before you know it, that's 10 minutes of the meditation. What just happened? And most stories, 90% of it never even happens. Not just in meditation. Most of the things that we fantasize as far as fear doesn't even actually come to fruition. It takes a lot of mental energy to pull things into the physical grid. So it does, just because it comes up doesn't mean you're meditating wrong. Again, the mind is doing what you do. You just take the same approach that as if you was at the airport and none of those suitcases was yours. Just let them go around, right? Yeah. I call it, don't pick up any suitcase. And if you do happen to go with one of those trains or you pick up one of those stories and it begins to develop, as soon as you realize it, the other thing that happens will get frustrated, which turns into another story. When you realize I picked something up, it's okay, it's cool, just simply drop the luggage.
Yeah, let it go. It's not yours.
Have an advantage in this moment because when you drop that luggage, you don't even have to guide the mind back. It's an elasticity of attention. So it will instantly snap back to the present moment and you'll have a heightened sense of attention to everything that's going on. So the sound for maybe about a second, the sounds of the cars, you're going to notice everything. That means you've come back to the present moment. You stay there as long as you can. And when another story develops, you realize you went off again, drop the luggage when you realize. And if nothing else, just start practice with that. Take 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. I could meditate for a minute. A minute felt excruciating when I was in this 5-week online course. One felt like it was fire ants crawling over, sitting still. But that consistency, that commitment piece, I'm glad you used that word commitment because consistency is another story, right? Yep. And then you'll quote unquote fall off. And then your mind will be using the story of, so you can't even stay consistent. But consistency is about what happened previously. It's attached to a moment that don't exist no more. So who cares if you meditated twice and then didn't meditate for none of that exists. If that thought comes check engine light. I can meditate right now. I don't got to beat myself up for falling off, right?
Yeah.
So just using just whatever comes while you're in that meditative state, just continue to drop. And over time, the mental activity will actually start to wilt. It will
Yes.
start to become more interested in what's happening underneath these thoughts that you keep pulling it back to, and it will speak to you. And you'll realize how not big and bad the mind actually is. It does not stand a chance against awareness, God, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't stand a chance. It just takes a little time and peace to allow those thoughts to wilt into that stillness.
Wow. Thank you. That's
Yes.
so deep. That's really deep. So what I would like our viewers to do, and do this for us. If you're viewing this on YouTube, give us a comment. Give us a like. Let us know what you would like to do. As far, what would you like to discuss? What would you like to talk about? What discussion or topic would you like for us to cover? And because I actually put together June's calendar for the Sundays already, and Malika, you know, we just did 5 Sundays. Today's our 6th Sunday, so it's a new month. I figure we'll just, the way I look at it, do month to month, and it just seems like a shorter span of time to accomplish. And when I get to this 364, 365 on Gregorian calendar, but anyway, when I get to that, then I know it's a year, right? But
Yes.
for June, of course, today's meditation. On the 13th, we're going to do yoga. We're going to cover yoga. For any of our listeners who wants more information on that, we are going to have a yogi master on panel with us here. Also on the 20th, we're going to talk about men's health, because you know what the 20th is, right? Right, y'all? It's Father's Day. So what better topic to have than men's health?
Yes.
Because on that day, they really take it easy and they listen. That's the day they take it real easy and they listen to everything all the loved ones have to say.
Yeah.
So we're going to love up on these fathers and these men, period. And we're going to give you some information on how to maintain optimum health, just maintain a healthy balance, and how to possibly restore some health. And on the 27th, y'all asked for it. We got mental health coming on. We have mental health coming up, and we do have some great guests that's going to be on the panel for that as well. Gary Richardson, big up yourself, King Ajamu. Big up yourself. Who do you think is the greater meditator? A person who meditates in the hills, or a person meditating in a marketplace? I would love to answer that. I'm gonna answer what I think, and I'm gonna let Malika and King Docs put that in as well, because I think the greater meditator is the one that's in the marketplace. Because if you can meditate with all that noise, you're good. Some people can't. They just hear the noise. They can't separate. So if you're in a marketplace and you're sitting there in meditation, you don't hear it and you can block it out. To me, that's a greater meditator, because you're blocking out more. If I'm on a hilltop, you know, I travel across the world just to get to the best waterfalls and sulfur hot springs. And I love mountaintops. I love hilltops, and I get up there so I can meditate. Yes, I do. And so I personally think the greater meditator is the person in the marketplace. What do you think, Malika?
I think that there is no greater meditator one from the other. I think that the person who meditates, the person who makes the intention to meditate, is great and great within themselves. Yes. They're tapping into their greatness, and they're both great, because meditation is about
because you might be the one on the hilltop and the one in the marketplace, same person. Different day.
Because some people, their thoughts are just too much, and so to be anywhere and be able to tune into yourself and get beyond the mind. Great. Yeah. Okay, so
we have like a minute left. So King Docs.
Yeah, I would say neither. There is no meditation.
Right.
The idea of a meditator is just a thought flowing through awareness and consciousness.
Yeah.
Experiences doing, so they even kind of get caught up in that illusion. Is part of what's going to block you from yourself. There is no meditation.
Yeah, and it's a category.
Yep.
Yeah, I just like to say, hey, I'm an alchemist. Which encompasses a whole lot of things on a deeper level. Right. So what we're going to do, don't forget, you all, every Sunday, 6 p.m. is I Am Metta. All right. I want to thank you all for being here today. Peace and love. every time. Give us a like, a comment, a share. And also, right after this at 7 p.m., we got All About Love, Lady D, Blossom, and Cool G. Don't forget to check them out.
Yeah.
Great day,
Love.
everybody. Be well.